Well, Fox News has learned that a front company run by former Russian spies is behind the worst cyber attack ever on the Pentagon. It happened earlier this year, and it forced the U.S. military to change its cybersecurity procedures, banning thumb drives and external hard drives. Well, now Homeland Security Secretary Chertoff is asking when a hacker's attack could be considered an act of war. Well, let's bring in Congressman Pete Hoekstra, a ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Now, Russia denies any involvement with this. These are former Russian spies, and the Pentagon says this might not mean that Russia is involved. These former KGB agents might have been working for someone else. What are the implications here?
Well, I think the implications are very clear. What we've seen over the last 18 to 24 months is a real pattern. You know, cyber world is now the world of perhaps new warfare. It is economic warfare, and it clearly is a new battlefield in the whole area of intelligence gathering and espionage.
So Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff, as we mentioned, is saying that the U.S. needs some sort of doctrine to decide when a cyber attack actually qualifies as an act of war. What's your opinion on that?
I think that's exactly right, because remember, most of the time, or most of the incidents that we've been talking about over the last couple of years have been, you might call them victimless crimes. People come into our cyber world and they may just see what's in there, or they may take some data out. But think about what happens in the future if someone goes in and starts manipulating data or starts destroying data. Think of the economic consequences that they would have. And so we really do need a definition as to when something would be defined as a hostile act, perhaps a hostile act of war, because of the implications that would result activities that they undertook.
Yeah, Chertoff points out that Russian sympathizers, as he calls them, have already engaged in cyber warfare in Georgia. So since this has been uncovered, what are the fears in terms of what information these people might have and how they might use it?
Well, remember, it's not only Georgia. The Russians have been implicated in going into Estonia and really causing economic disruption in that country. They've gone into Georgia. There have been allegations of the Chinese coming into the U.S. government here on Capitol Hill. The Russians perhaps going into the Pentagon. I think the ramifications are very, very broad. And once you get in, and once you get into certain networks, you can get access to all kinds of data, including very, very sensitive data.
Yeah, the Pentagon has put new security measures in place in the wake of uncovering this cyber attack. Do you believe our classified military information at this point is protected?
Well, clearly from what the press reports and from what some of the things that we've learned, it's not secure enough. We've had sloppy operating procedures that allowed people to penetrate into our networks. You know, with what we're seeing, we need to recognize we need to be much more vigilant, much more careful. And every time we put in place one more barrier for people to hack into our system, guess what? They become a little bit more creative. They become a little bit better at getting into the system. This is why we need a nationwide system, not only protecting our government secrets, but also our economic base, our industrial base.
All right, scary stuff. Congressman Pete Hoekstra, thanks for joining us.
Patty Ann,